Just off the approach end of runway 26 at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in North Carolina lies a restaurant. It used to be a favorite of the locals until it closed down recently. And in my 5 years stationed here, I only ate here a few times. But it was here that I got my first taste of Eastern North Carolina barbecue. Eastern North Carolina barbecue is pork-based, pit-cooked, whole hog, and entirely slathered in vinegar. If you look up Southern American cuisine on Wikipedia, Wilbur's Pit is still the top picture. So pretty standard Eastern North Carolina barbecue plate. You got your pork, you got your coleslaw, you got your cornbread. This is pretty standard what you get. This is not the barbecue I grew up on originally. I'm from Kansas City, one of the other barbecue meccas in the country. And there they use a larger variety of meats, and the sauce is usually thicker, more sweeter, maybe tomato or molasses based. The history of barbecue in this part of the country is longer than it is in Kansas City. This is arguably one of the older traditions of barbecue in America, and similar to some of the original styles that originated in the Caribbean. As such, there's an argument to be made that this is the most authentic barbecue you could have. And despite all of that, it's still not really what I prefer. There's a divide in North Carolina. There's the Eastern style of barbecue like Wilbur's or Skyline Inn, and then there's the Lexington style of barbecue. The differences to an outsider like me are subtle. Pork is still the preferred meat, however instead of whole hog, they use only pork shoulder. Vinegar is still the basis of the sauce, but this time they add tomato, usually in the form of ketchup. Slaw is maybe still the preferred side, but they add that tomato vinegar sauce to it. That's it. That's the difference. I went to Lexington Barbecue in Lexington, North Carolina last night. It was super busy, so I didn't want to film a whole lot, so I only got a little bit of footage. Overall, it was a good experience. The servers were incredibly nice. They actually gave me some extra free food. They actually made me feel like I belonged there. It was kind of that down-home cooking type feel. However, it's still not the barbecue that I prefer. I still didn't really like it. So here's a classic Lexington barbecue plate. You've got your pork, you've got your slaw, you've got your vinegar-based sauce. Instead of cornbread, you got hush puppies this time. But even despite having such a deep similarity, a schism is developed. The Easterners say that the Lexington style is just bad pork covered in ketchup. And when a bill attempted to make the Lexington Barbecue Festival the official barbecue festival of North Carolina, the Easterners balked, and it became illegal for either style to be considered the official style of North Carolina barbecue. Again, the barbecue tradition I come from is much more of a big tent affair. Meats, sauces, and methods can differ from place to place a little bit, but a regional Kansas City style still remains. To me, it seems the dogma of what does and does not constitute barbecue is more absolute here. And I really don't like this style of barbecue. But people are nuts about it. Pork barbecue is the one true barbecue around here. In the minds of many North Carolinians, having, say, a brisket is not considered true barbecue and is a form of heresy. And I feel conflicted because I'm an elder millennial and I've been told my whole life that I should appreciate the more authentic, truer form of something. And it's hard to argue that a pig cooked in a pit has been around for thousands of years, and this is maybe the closest we have to the truest expression of that. And therefore, I should appreciate it more than my pick your meat, slather it in sauce Kansas City form of barbecue. And some would even argue if I have to slather my meat in all this sugary tomato-based sauce, do I even really appreciate the pork? I don't agree with that, but some might argue that. Which leads me to the second reason I'm conflicted. In my preference for what I know, am I not just doing the same thing that Easterners and Lexingtoners are doing when they argue over the orthodoxy of their respective barbecue traditions? Even though their barbecue traditions share 98% of the same evolutionary DNA? Because North Carolina barbecue might be more authentic, but is it more authentically good? Not to me. And in thinking about all of this, I kind of realized how much of our cultural conversation around authenticity and identity is still kind of a performative act, asking us to adhere to some sort of tribal identity with sometimes really arbitrary lines in the sand. And listen, I'm not trying to make this a bigger deal than it really is. I'm sure arguing over whose barbecue is the best is all in good fun. It's like being a Chiefs or a Panthers fan. But it is funny to me how we can make a whole thing about even the smallest differences in our culture. But yeah, Kansas City barbecue is the best.